Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Thursday, June 8th edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. I'm Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick on the show today. Our top story is going to be Alibaba. Holy smokes. You guys see that thing last night? We're going to talk about that. We got Urban Outfitters with some bad same-store sales. And, of course, the headline of the day, besides Baba, will be the trio of big political events. We have this UK general election, we got this Comey testimony, and we have Draghi set to speak later in the day. So it's going to be a big day. I'm predicting a day of light volume as everyone will be glued to their TV screens, not their trading screens. Joel, how are we doing on the S&Ps right now?
So far, your prediction's okay. We are down one tick here at 24.31.75. I'm not going to give you a lot of numbers. I'm just going to tell you multiple highs in the upper 24.30 handle and multiple lows in the 25.25 area. So that's what we'll be looking at. Market doesn't care about crude anymore, though. Crude got absolutely slaughtered yesterday, and the market held in there. Now crude down, just made a low at 45.35. Let's take a look at the dailies. We might even need some weeklies on this one. So much for those OPEC cuts. And gold and silver going the same way today. Gold now $15 away from that $1,300 level, down $7.30 at $12.85.90. And silver only down a penny at $17.61. But with 3 million shares traded, up $15.50, we have to ask Dennis how much Alibaba he's short.
You know what? I actually was short some Alibaba. I got up before in the morning, and I actually did short some Alibaba because I bought Yahoo.
Okay.
So I did the Yahoo Baba pair. So I actually lost some money. I lost 8 points on Baba, but I think I may have already cashed it out. I think I made over 4 points on Yahoo, and percentage-wise, that works out pretty well. So happy with the trade there. It was a good trade for me this morning. Baba was trading up, I think, about 4%, and Yahoo was only up like 1.5%. So, what I did was, I was like, I like that headline. So I actually didn't hedge it fully. I actually went long about twice as much Yahoo dollar-wise as Baba. So it worked out really well. Actually, on my hedge itself, I don't think I made anything. It was just my flat-out Yahoo long that made some money there because I was buying it around in the 51 handle this morning. 51.5, I think, is where I was picking it up. And obviously, it's trading over 55 here now. That was very early at 4 in the morning. Obviously, it was a different scenario then because it was early. News was digesting. Stock was, Baba was only trading at 131 then. So it wasn't like, boom, that Baba was at 140 and was able to buy Yahoo at 51.5. The ARB was just a couple of percent, which it still is kicking around that couple percent. Yahoo's up 9.75%. Baba's up 12.7%. So there's 3% difference in them right now. Yahoo's really trying to play catch up here. We know Yahoo is basically an Alibaba tracking stock. And like I said, I wasn't able to buy Baba this morning, so I was picking up the Yahoo.
So was it one of these where you got caught short Baba and
you
went for the
Yahoo? No, I bought the Yahoo first.
You bought the Yahoo?
And then I let the Baba run a bit. So I bought the Yahoo, and that's why I was, really well, because I let the Baba run, because I was like, Baba's only trading up $4, and I was looking at this headline, and Spencer, give the headline because we haven't said it yet.
This is pretty crazy. So the CFO, Maggie Wu, came out and said she sees revenue growth of 45 to 49% for the fiscal year 2018.
That is unbelievable. And I read that headline. Sometimes I get up just, I check my news, sometimes at 3:45 before the 4 a.m. open, and I see what the news is. I saw that headline. I was like, I got to go down and trade some of this Alibaba. And it didn't open that high. It actually opened up around 127 or 128. So I guess I should have been buying Baba off the open, but then it ran. Within seconds, it was up over 130. And Yahoo opened up about 40, 50 cents. I was trying to buy the Yahoo, but it was thin. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. There's nothing even in there. So you're trying to throw up bids. You're trying to get the Yahoo. I finally was able to pick up some Yahoo, like I said, at 51.50. And then I let both of them run for a while. And Yahoo was trading over 52, but I wanted to go back to bed, so I wanted to put a partial hedge on. So I hedged half of it by shorting some Baba in the 132 handle, which you can say, whoa, that's 10 points ago. But obviously I was long Yahoo at 51.5, which is, 10% ago too, or 8% ago. So that's why it worked out overall, because I actually didn't hedge the whole thing. I only hedged part of it, and they kept running. And then I woke up back at 6:30 in the morning, and I can see Baba trading at 140, and I was like, good call not to hedge it all.
Just one quick. Do you keep the percentages up on your screens, or did
Yeah,
you just do
I
this all
got
by fill?
No, I got the percentages up. So I've got the two stocks just looking. So if you were to look at my screen here, and maybe I could eventually show that, but the problem is it's Ready Plus, which is now Reuters, and just different rules. You can't just show stuff like that because copyrights and that. But anyways, so I've got basically two quote screens up. It's called a montage in here, where I'm seeing the level 2 quotes, all my orders. And I got Baba and Yahoo right beside each other. So I'm looking at them both right now. I'm looking at Alibaba trading up 13.6%. I'm looking at Yahoo trade up 10.2%. I'm not surprised that Yahoo's not up 13 because it's playing catch up here. It's difficult. And, there was some individual news on Yahoo as well. This merger, and they're cutting some jobs. So I'm not surprised that Yahoo's not quite catching up to Baba, which is why I probably only partially hedged it. But that being said, Yahoo is a Baba tracking stock, so it's gonna get a rise when Baba's up now 14%.
Yeah, just a quick technicals. I mean, this keeps making new highs on the pre-market session. So if you're trying to, hedge this thing or get out or take profits on a long, just let it run here. Let it run and maybe see that opening print or see what the high is at at 9:29 and 29 seconds and use that a parameter. But I can't even hazard to guess where this thing's going to stop today.
That is a crazy headline. Part of you wonders, can you believe it? I mean, it's coming from a Chinese company saying 45 to 49% revenue growth. That sounds insane. Market obviously wasn't expecting anything like that. So way over market expectations. That's why the stock is just taking off. Put this in perspective, though. Go back to the monthlies, Joel, and check out where the stock was, in the summer of 2015, when everybody, and I mean everybody, hated the stock. It got down to $57, and everybody was saying, "Oh, Chinese company, Baba, you didn't know where it was going." Everybody hated it then, and everybody loves it here now. The one thing I'll say is they're going to grow revenues like that. The stock could have some running to do yet, and we know when these things get hot, they can continue to stay hot for a long period of time. So I'm not coming in here shorting Alibaba, at least not without being long some Yahoo.
Okay. All right. Let's get on to some other news here.
Jumping back over, we just had a few earnings reports here, but before we get to that, just let's talk. It's the big three here. We had some sales there from Ford overnight, Spencer, and Ford and GM are both trading down here in the pre-market. And actually, this is good for me because you know what? I'm going to close on my Ford bet here again, Joel. You did not win the Ford bet. What do I have on the low side?
1066.
Is it 1060? It's way down to 1066.
Yes, Dennis.
Oh,
yes.
man. Well, I'm looking better than I was. I'll let you out for... No, I don't even know if I'm going to let you out. But, Spencer, what's the headline here that's driving Ford down this morning?
I'm actually going through and looking for it right now, so you called me off guard there, so give me one.
I did catch you off guard. It was some type of sales headline. I can go to actually try to find it, too. Usually we prep Spencer a little bit more, but I totally took him for a loop. And on the pre-market show, I didn't prep him there for the Ford sales. If you have them...
No, I got Morgan Stanley comments on Ford. I don't see Ford.
Okay, I'll try to grab it here just quickly. Here, I had it up.
We'll just do the technicals while you're looking for that, and
Sure.
well, here we are at 1090, and this is under $11. You found support under $11 multiple times here, so oh boy, I sure hope it can.
It is. Spencer, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Joel. You're correct, Spencer. It is Morgan Stanley's comments on Ford that are driving it
look
down.
at that. All right.
There you are. So I threw myself under the bus here too because I don't think it is Ford sales. It's their comment on their sales.
Yep.
What do you got?
Yep. They revised their 2019 EPS forecast, and they see it falling significantly below the 75-cent estimate at. I totally butchered that. Let's try that again. They're cutting their 2019 EPS forecast. The consensus is $1.66, and they see it falling well below that, maybe at around 75 cents.
And that was Adam Jonas, correct? Morgan?
I believe so.
Okay. The only thing I have to say is, if you're thinking of fading him on this move here, you maybe want to have another second thought here because he did that double upgrade of Goodyear tire last week, and it gapped up $2. And you know what? It's held that gap, and it's moving higher here. So he's very good, very influential. A lot of support under $11. So what it needs to do is catch a bid, get back over 11 and closer 11, or I just may be out another lunch here to Dennis. General Motors here, 34 was support. Let's see if they're hitting the GM on
They are.
this.
They are.
Man, these things
Just as
just
much.
cannot get
No.
out of the way of themselves.
No, they're just hated. And stocks stay hated for a long time. Everybody's on the Tesla bandwagon. Everybody's thinking General Motors and Ford is the old school way. And these are value traps too. And we know I bought some Ford back in the 12 handle there, and it was a wrong call. And again, just like McGilliad, these value stocks just are out of favor right now. Maybe they eventually come back into favor, but right now they're hated. And, stocks can stay hated for a long period of time. And I'm not adding to any of these because they look like value traps. And especially if the earnings start going down, then those multiples start going up.
All right.
And then they don't have the value.
All right. 8:11. I know we got a lot to cover here, but Johann Smith has been patient here, and he's been asking
Sure.
you about some gaming stocks. And let's just, I don't know. I don't have my news open here, so I don't know if there's any relevant news. But, Dennis, I'll just do a quick technical on Caesars, and then you can give your quick
Sure.
technical, and then we'll move on. I see Caesars is trading up 1280. Well, there's a double top, so you want to see it. Take that out and keep going. Maybe look for a whole number here at $13. But nice run. Maybe just try and lock in profits and see if it doesn't slip below 12. Dennis, any comments on Caesars?
It's been running. I mean, the casino stocks have all been hot. They're all in the same group. Wynn Resorts, we know, has been running. It's had 4 days of pause, but it seems like every time these things just pause, it's just breathing for a few minutes or a few days, and then it just takes off again. So Wynn looks like it's just it's breathing here. It had the big run up. It's digesting it here. As long as it's above 130, I think Wynn is fine. Las Vegas Sands has actually been running the last 3 days, so these kinds of things have been sometimes moving on their own. MGM's been running, made a new high on the move yesterday again. Caesars, CZR, same story. New high. It's bid here this morning again too. All these casino stocks are hot. Exact opposite of the automotive sector that we were just talking about.
All right. Then I'll just give Dennis, you kind of gave everything on both those. MGM, I mean, obviously the major support at 32, trying to clear a whole number at 33, but maybe moving that stop up and protecting. Another thing is you like to keep an eye on the high close in the move, which is 32.76. You want to keep improving on that. And if you're looking for daily targets, I like to look at the 9-day average range. If it looks like the stock makes a low in the morning, it's a buck average range. It gets up near a buck. You may have some players coming out of that. And the last one here is Las Vegas Sands that he asked about. LVS. Sure hope you're on these, Johann Smith.
He's asking actually, and this is an interesting question. We got 1 minute to teach it, but he's asking when can we short these things? Joel, you want to handle that one? I was thinking the same thing. I threw that to you. I'm scared to short stock shorts that look like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've lost enough money, shorting things like this. I mean, if you really feel like
lost money shorting period.
Yeah, I mean, this Las Vegas Sands is just moving up here to the $64 area. That was resistance. I see 3 monthly highs in Las Vegas Sands, but at the 63.50 area. But you know what? It's going to take a downgrade, or some bad Macau data or something right now. But right now, just think about it this way. You're thinking about shorting it. What about the people that are already short? What are they thinking? What are they doing? So maybe if you want,
54%, Johann Smith says this short on the flow to Caesars. They're scrambling and they're in trouble. So, when you see that short interest and you see a chart looks like that, it can go for a long period of time. Like you always say, Joel, it's easier to short when they're going down as opposed to when they're going straight up. So maybe wait for a red candle, wait for you to get a close below some significant level. Let it digest here because, it's just moving. And it's the same thing with BABA. You think this seems straight up, but I mean, if they're going up 45, 49%, those sales, this thing could run for a while.
Yeah, just add that to the price. Just take a quick look at BABA here. Boom, boom.
The one thing we didn't mention, too, right off the bat, it's driving up all the other Chinese stocks, too. JD.com up 5% here this morning. Baidu trading up 2.5% here this morning. So if you're a China stock, you're getting a boost off this BABA numbers.
All right, 8:15. Who's our first and only guest?
Anne-Marie Band. We know her. She's a trader, technician, author, CEO of the TradingBook.com, one of our favorite guests, and local as well here in Michigan. So we'll be right back with Anne-Marie.
Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, brought to you by Benzinga Pro. I'm your co-host, Joel Elkanah, along with Dennis Dick and Spencer Israel working the boards here. We got Anne-Marie Band on the line, and we were having such a good time talking to her in the green room there that I forgot we had a radio show to run. Anne-Marie, how you doing today?
I am doing really well, enjoying the wonderful Michigan weather before winter comes back to try and kill us.
Okay, all right. Real quickly, we've been trying to get you on. I know you've been busy here at the 8:30 hour, and you've been doing a little work with Fari.
Yes, absolutely. We've been working with his other time frame technology. It's been tremendous. You know, we as traders that know each other, we've been around a long time. And when you bump into a really beautiful product that works, that's new conceptually, sometimes people need a hand gripping the technology. And so because I love it so much, Fari and I work together now on a morning briefing. So at 8:30 we get together, we talk about all the markets, see what they're going to do, look at support, look at resistance, and then look at the technology to tell us what clues it's going to give us during the day to position ourselves.
All right, that sounds good. All right, Alibaba. We got to talk about Alibaba here. 4.2 million shares, up $16. Have traded a little bit higher. I mean, I guess if you're long this thing, great. If you're trying to short it, give us how Anne-Marie will short Alibaba today.
Well, you know what? I am not quite sure that this is going to be a short that's going to give us anything but a pullback into higher support. And so when we take a look at something like this and we go, gosh, where is this thing going? Can I short it? It seems the move is a bit unreasonable, and it does seem quite high. What we have to think about is, where is the chart technically? So one of the things that I do not know the answer to is, what's the short float? And if there's a significant short float, we could have an epic squeeze on the horizon here. And, you know, those of us that sit on the wrong side of things once in a while, and we've been trading for a long time, we open certain accounts that we can go, all right, well, I need to maybe go long in this so that when I come in the morning, it's going to wash out a bit. But right here, everything looks like the first pass fade. People who are excited about Baba are going to climb in again. So for me, I've got to look for exhaustion on a tight time frame to see that happen. And so far, we still keep making higher highs and higher lows, even though we have technical divergence. And a lot of us have a tendency to just see technical divergence and then get in the opposite direction. And that's really not what technical divergence is telling us to do. When something's technically divergent and price continues to move, all the divergence says is, hey, listen, when I come into support, I'm going to lift again. And so you can verify that looking at any sort of thing that has got really strong buying action, seeing the higher lows, higher highs. And we continue to do that. We just made another high about 20 minutes ago, and where it's coming into is frontline support. And that number looks to me like it's about 140. So if it comes into 140, you're going to see a set of buyers come in there, try to hold it up. I like to look for the double top where supply absolutely puts a lid on the high and it cannot move forward. That tells me there's a little bit of a shift. But right now, the buyers are just having their way with the sellers. And if we pop open and fade, it's going to be a fade that's likely to come into support where all the short sellers are going to have to cover. And so that makes for a little bit of a nasty trade if you're trying to short or long. I would say, let it settle out, see what it's going to do for 15 minutes or so, and, sit on your hands a bit, which is the toughest thing for traders in general.
I mean, it's natural human tendency to see a stock going up 15, 17, 18 points, especially for a trader, and say, I want to sell this thing. And even more natural tendency when you see a stock falling 20%, especially newer traders. They really, they see something. Like I have my friends all the time that aren't traders, and they say, I saw this one stock down 20%. Can I buy some of that? Because they think it's going to come right back. And so often it does the exact opposite, because, you do have people that come in and, try to, call the bottom. But so often when the sentiment turns negative and south on a stock, we know we're in this momentum market. It can continue that way for a long period of time. And just the opposite with Alibaba. Sentiment is flying high here right now. I mean, this stock, all of a sudden coming out with a headline that, the sales could go up 45 to 49% in 2018. I mean, we got a complete repricing of this because the market, is not expecting that whatsoever. So momentum is totally on its side. So completely agree with you here, Anne Marie. I just, how do you break that mentality, that natural mentality of trying to fade every big move?
So here's what I do. What I try to do is I look at a chart and I say, what are the people actually thinking in this particular environment? And what we think is, okay, two sides of us, wow, I got to get involved somewhere. And the other person that says, hey, listen, there's no way this is going to keep moving the way it's moving. It's just got to fade. So when somebody goes in short and they have their stop and it moves up, it actually fuels that price higher. So what the trader has to think about is, who are the majority players? And if just a few people are moving price up, then you've got to sit back and go, okay, if I want to participate, I have to participate within a range of motion. A lot of folks just buy and go, well, let's just see where this goes. And that's fine if you just think about the downside. Let's see where this goes. Okay, yeah, back to 120 or wherever, right? The chart has got to make that cycle through. So for me as a trader, what made me realize you cannot try to short things simply because you have a gut feel that the move is over, because there are people that are fueling the price either because they continue to short and it continues to move up and it fuels the price up, or there are people scrambling to get involved and they're chasing price up the space. All of it becomes very unsettling. And so for me, I have to have a very settled mental space before I enter a trade. And it's only from years of doing that and it having me kick me in the teeth with an iron boot that I go, oh yeah, that's probably the wrong thing to do. And so when you think about, all right, what is my risk event? The second a trader starts figuring out, I've got to focus more on what it is I might lose than what it is that I think I'm losing out on or anything like that, your P&L will automatically shift and turn in the direction that you want it to go. And I can't express that more significantly and truthfully in the space where we take a look like Baba and we see it just accelerating and saying, hey, we'll see the move up and we'll go, oh, it's moved too much. I can't get involved in the long side. Maybe I'll just short it because nobody wants to come late to the party, so they go in the opposite direction. But, you just cannot move against the big wave of motion unless you're just ready to kick yourself down, right? Everybody says, hey, you got to be a contrarian thinker. And when we come in as traders, we go, wait, I'm supposed to be contrarian. That's not what a trader does. A trader is supposed to run with the moves, managing the risk. That long-term investor, he's going to go buy when there's blood in the street because he's going to hold it for 20 years or whatever. And so all the speak we hear on the television and stuff like that, we bring it into the trading space and we go, oh, okay, I need to be contrarian. And that really is not what that means at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, Maria.
Go ahead, Dennis.
I want to try to get in, just to expand on your point there. This is something I say on the show all the time, and it's funny you say that because it's exactly what I've learned in my 18-year career here. Is actually I'm a momentum trader and a contrarian investor, and I've said that a lot of times.
Exactly.
And it's worked really well for me because, when there's blood on the streets, I throw some of these stocks in my invest portfolio and I forget about them. And I might take heat, but, I'm not on margin in my invest portfolio, so I can take some heat. And eventually, sometimes they start to come back around, and those work out. But if you're sitting there as a trader, you can't be handling these losses and sitting back and having this on your screen, because the heat you're going to take is going to affect all your other trading positions as well. So, a small investment in something is a big difference than, a big trade in something. So, I've always, I completely agree with you. I think it's a momentum. It's better to be a momentum trader, but a contrarian investor.
Exactly.
Anne-Marie,
Exactly.
it's hard to talk to stocks because you just give us such a broad framework that you can apply to the markets. But just real quickly, I know we only got another minute here. Just give us some thoughts here on the overall market. I mean, just incredible rally. We're getting some tighter ranges up here, but tighter ranges and low volatility just basically means continuation of the trend. Do you basis the S&P futures or the cash? What are you keen on right now?
I'm 100% in agreement with you right now. What I see a lot of traders doing is seeing technical divergence and choosing the shorts on this low breakout space when it says, oh, yeah, look at it. It's coming down again. It's got negative momentum. It's going to move to, a lower low, and the buyers continually to come in at value areas. And so that really, I'm very cautiously long in the space. It is very difficult to be short in any place, including oil after its tremendous fade down here. It should try to stabilize here, but if it doesn't, it's got another dollar to the downside. That's what I am looking at. I went to the weekly cumulative oil contract, and I can see congestion right here around this 45.30 to 45.40 area. That's really where I'm looking at, because I think that any kind of bounce action that does not hold is just going to give us some kind of major continuation. But we are set for a little bit of a bounce. NQ and the NASDAQ running like crazy. It is really a house of fire, but again, starting to get into target regions where it's much better to just buy on the pullback and watch what happens at resistance rather than trying to step in front of a moving freight train and sell at these new highs. They're just not rewarding us unless we absolutely say, hey, listen, if I sell the new high, as soon as it gets to my first level support, I've got to take some profit. That's been very successful. Otherwise, that's been a fool's errand in terms of levering in or continuing to short as the price goes up, thinking that your cost averaging is going to take care of you. We could have, something huge with the vote coming along. And so, there's just a lot to be cautious about, but cautiously long at these deep support areas seem to give me less risk and greater reward.
Anne-Marie, we know you got to run, so thanks so much for hopping on today. We love having you on. We'll definitely get you on again soon.
All right, thanks so much. See you later. Bye-bye.
That was great stuff. That was great, I thought.
So much education.
Dennis, Joel, agree? Yes.
Yeah. She's fun.
100%.
She's fun to talk to, and I think for people that have been listening to the show for a while, it's not much different than what she said in the past. It's very consistent, in her approach. So she's a local gal. We're gonna have to get her on here again, get her in the office too. Anne-Marie, thanks for coming on. Here we are, 8:30. Did you have something else on Baba?
Oh yeah, I want to add. Actually, Estraza mentioned this in the chat. He said he had a white paper on China A shares. Don't forget, everyone, that June 20th is the official vote date for whether MSCI will include China A shares in their emerging markets index. It's looking that this is finally going to be the year. This is now, I think, the fourth year this has been up for a vote. I think this is going to be the year. It's what the general sentiment seems to be. So, if that were to happen, there would be a ton of investment flooding into Chinese stocks. So watch out for that, because that could be a big catalyst. That's again on June 20th.
More catalyst for China. China looks like it could get hot here with this Alibaba. I mean, just think about it. When you get probably the biggest company coming out of there, raising these sales guidance, this is going to spill over. And we've already talked about it this morning, seeing JD.com trading up and Baidu trading up. And what are some other ones, Spencer? I don't trade China that much. Is there any other ones that jump out at you that I'm forgetting about?
Baba, JD, Baidu. I would say Tencent, Weibo, Sina.
Weibo. What's the symbol on Weibo?
WB, and then Sina is SINA. Tencent is more of a holding company, but and they're OTC. Those are sort of the major Chinese stocks. But again, this would lead to a massive flood of every ETF that tracks the emerging markets would have to then go and add these stocks to their to their funds. So it would be a massive flood of investment into China. Obviously, right now, unless you're a specific type of institution, you can't invest in China A shares. Only H shares, and only through stocks on U.S. exchanges like Baba, etc. So it would be a boon for the whole market. So just keep that on your radar if you are watching China.
And was it Mr. Boski we had on? Wasn't he real bullish to China?
Yeah, we should get him back.
Yeah, we should get him back on. I know it's a little bit of a time change and stuff, but we should get him on. I remember him being particularly bullish that sector. And, just like China dragged us down, what was back? Was this back in 15 or whatever when, the crises were happening? It dragged us down. Now it's having the opposite effect on the market here. So just another driver here to take this market even higher. I'll just go with that.
It's so hard. I mean, it's so hard to short this market overall. Now you look and China's getting a pop. And, here the S&P futures just seem to shrug everything off. Even this, we're only up, 1 point here on the S&P futures. And you can say Bob was going to rally 18 points and every Chinese stock was going to be flying here today. I would think we'd be up more than one S&P point. So, we always joke about this honey badger market, shrugging off everything on the downside. It's shrugging off stuff on the upside too, the S&Ps.
It's Comey testifying.
They're just nervous. The market's too nervous.
Oh, Dennis, I got a stock that I know you've been very active in over the last few days, and I just need your comments on WINS. I mean, I know you're...
What?
WINS. I know you've been trading a lot of this.
I have never heard of this stock. You found one. It's rare for you to find a stock I've never heard of and never looked at. And wow, wins. What's the deal here?
I wish we could get Brent mic'd up here for this because he did a good article.
Mic him up. Bring him over.
Can we do it? Can we do it real quick, Brent?
Can
you talk about
Brentster, get out of here. Let's hear about wins. Yeah. Everybody's winning and wins.
I gave him some great advice yesterday.
Is this Charlie Sheen's company?
Yeah, close.
I said it may stop at 151. Oh, go ahead, Brent. Take it away.
What should I? Hey, Dennis, how you doing? What are you guys looking for? A little commentary on wins.
Well, why don't you explain a little bit, Brent? What happened yesterday?
Went from 20 to 200 in 4 trading sessions, up 1,000%.
Right. Stock was at $20 on Monday, so nobody knows why. That's the reason. And this is coming directly from a company spokesperson. Company doesn't have like a media relations, but they have some outsourced media relations. We got a hold of somebody yesterday. So when we reach out to companies and say, hey, do you know why the stock's moving? Most of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, they go, we don't comment on market price action. When we got a hold of this guy yesterday, he not only was commenting on the price action, he was like going into detail about the kinds of investors and traders the company thinks is playing this stock. The spokesperson actually said management right now believes that the stock is sort of a vehicle for technical and day traders. That's what a company spokesperson actually said. And again, we don't hear this 99% of the time. So some interesting comments. The spokesperson also said that the company is in touch with NASDAQ, not for any kind of like concerning reason, but basically was trying to reassure investors that the NASDAQ knows what's going on. And yesterday, before the stock got halted, the stock is still halted, I believe. Before the stock got halted, the spokesperson at the company was actually sort of, as I got it, was kind of warning us that they will halt stocks sometimes like this. He didn't give specific examples, but he said it's happened in the past with other Chinese names like this that they will halt it. A few hours later, the stock actually was halted. So
Well,
definitely an interesting story here, to say the least.
well, we saw dry ships get halted too. Remember, it was taken off on
Exactly.
no apparent reason whatsoever. It
Right.
halted, and then it came out with whatever they said, and the stock ended up falling like 80% over the course of the next 2 days. So, this is something that I think is probably going to be short-lived. It's a matter of where it goes, and you get into, I don't know if this is a squeeze scenario. I don't know what's happening. Like you said, the company doesn't even know what's happening here. But I just know when stocks get going in one direction, they can really keep rolling here, and funny things can happen. And sometimes it's just numbers, and traders and algorithms are just trading numbers. They don't care about what the company's doing or anything. And if they're seeing demand in the shares, they're going to be buying it. So, and demand just being other buyers. If there's other buyers out there, they'll step ahead of those buyers.
Brentster,
So,
I just want one thing.
Yeah.
I want to let him get back to that. I mean, I just want, this is kind of the research here that we're doing on stocks, and Brent and I were talking about this, and I'm just shaking my head. And I just wondered, like, what was the guy's reaction? I mean, his phone probably never rings.
Right.
I mean, was he just getting bombarded with phone calls there? Because
It didn't seem like it, to be honest. I think Nick spoke with the guy, and seemed like he had a pretty casual conversation. It didn't sound like he was like trying to get Nick off the phone in any hurry or anything. Bloomberg had covered this story a few months ago, and basically they were like profiling the company, and the kind of thing that came out of it was that nobody really knows what they do. So
this is a sympathy of this bull market right now. This is just or a symptom of this bull market.
Good
here.
call, Dennis.
It's stocks like this.
All right, great research by Brent there and
The
Nick.
volume. Look
Yeah.
at the volume here. So it did 320,000 shares yesterday before it got halted. Look at the volume 5 days ago, Joel. What was the volume 5 days ago?
I know. I was looking at this too. Well, you
6 days before the run started.
well, if you want to go back to May 26, 772 shares traded.
So it's trading 700 shares a day. A whopping 700 times, 26. It's trading, 20 grand worth of stock a day. Now all of a sudden it's trading 320,000 shares at $205, and just blasting off into orbit. Nobody knows what it does. Nobody knows, anything about it. It doesn't sound like this move, but this is craziness. If you're involved in this and you've made some money, good job. But this is something that's totally beyond, how I trade. Exact opposite of boring. Risk all over the place. I mean, I don't even touch this kind of stuff. I'm at this to make a living. And, if you want to throw speculative capital, you want to have some fun and stuff like this, if this is your gambling capital, it's one thing. But this is exact opposite of what, somebody that's doing this for a career should be trading, in my opinion. Because there's no way to know. Thing gets halted on you. Now they come out, and they could say something. Thing could open up at $20 or $30, and you lose 90% overnight. It can do that. So, and maybe it doesn't. We don't know what price is going to open up out of the halt. But remember dry ships, when it opened up out of its halt, was up at 117. I think it opened up like $35, didn't it? It was way down. It was like down.
Oh,
60
more
or
than
70.
that. Then it ended up going to.
Well, it goes to zero. Well, it continuously always goes to zero, but or basically zero. But I mean, bring up the dry ships chart. After all these reverse splits and that ridiculous move that we had 2 years ago, what was that? On an adjusted basis, like $10,000 a share, and things at $1.
You always ask me the all-time high, and I can't count all the decimals on it.
Yeah.
But
and anyways, this stuff here is just so risky. And this is what, a lot of newer traders want to trade too. They come in, they see, I can make all this money in a hurry, 153% one day. That's where I want to have my money. This is a good recipe to lose money, having stuff like this. And I don't even like having this stuff on my screen because this is just the exact opposite of how I've learned how to make money over my 18-year career. I like boring, like Coke. Like I'll nibble into Baba and stuff and Yahoo, but there's some arbitrage there. There's some different stuff going on. I just flat out, I'm going to buy this $100 stock because it's, it was like $90, 100, and the momentum's behind it. You don't know when that bubble's going to pop. And it could pop just overnight. It could pop because of a halt. And the person who bought this thing, let's just say hypothetically, you bought this thing at 12 o'clock yesterday at $205. You are scared right now. If you are long this thing, you are scared big time. Because you know what happened in dry ships. You know what happens sometimes in these things. It's halted right now. Company comes out and says, we have no idea why. And you were saying, Brentster, already, they don't know, no idea why. The stock's trading up like this. It can reopen at $100 and you lose half your money just like that. So scary, scary, scary stock to be trading. And that's my suggestion. Like I said, if you're good at trading this stuff, you trade all the time, by all means continue to do it. But this is just not easy way to make money.
All right. Any news on PTCT? Probably there was yesterday. Nice run here. Get some good drug trial.
It was running.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. Hold on.
It's not for today, though.
They have a PDUFA date coming up. Hold on one sec.
It's been running for 3 days in a row.
They got a PDUFA date tomorrow for something called Adalurin. It is oh boy, I can't pronounce these things.
Just keep going. Just go past it.
Dystrophinopathy treatment. Brester hasn't seen any hard news over the last 2 days, but they got a date where they're going to be revealing some data. So there, you're getting a rally ahead of it. It just depends. Kyle Dennis kind of likes to play these things. He likes to play it into it and then get out before, because it could go either way. 1650 has been the high of the move. Another way to play it, if you're long here, maybe do some stock replacement. Sell, take some of the profits, buy some cheap calls, or calls with some of your profits and see what happens. Buying puts to protect the downside. The only number sticking out to me here is 1650. But once again, with a trial, it could go either way.
Yeah, Johan, actually, no, I was just looking. Fuzzy was asking us about Urban Outfitters, URBN, and we haven't talked about that one yet. It is getting murdered here again. Another retailer getting destroyed. It's just another Thursday here in the Metro Detroit. So $18.23 where it closed at $15.92 here now. Sales comps were down over 3% here. Not good news here. Joel, 15.92 here on URBN. Thoughts?
Was it bad news on their pizza system or their
I knew that joke
pizza
was
franchise
coming.
that they bought?
He makes that joke every time.
All right, I don't know what to say about this stock here. You hit a pre-market low of 1570, and you haven't got back into the 16 handle yet, only trading at 1595. So if you're looking for one target here on the downside, you can use that area, 1570. Now I have to go to my monthlies here, and I believe this is nope, not a new all-time low. We were back. Another number for you. Let's see, $15 here. $14.91. That was your low back in April of 2009. So if in fact you did get to that 1570 area, see how close it gets to a whole number. Great great for the shorts here. So we'll see if they want to cover.
Let's think about what Anne Marie just said 20 minutes ago on the show. And she says momentum trading, contrarian investing. But you know what? You could say, oh, Urban Outfitters, I could make a contrarian investment in this. I'll tell you something. I don't want to own any apparel retailers. I don't want to own any of these teeny bopper stores, because the stuff is just not, those stores are just completely out of favor. And a lot of these are going under. I know, like we saw American Eagle Outfitters or Aeropostale go under last year. American Eagle Outfitters has continued to leak here. The gap looks really bad down here, just hanging at 22. GPS, here's the setup for you. GPS starts taking out that 22. I like it as a short. And, you can say, holy cow, how can you short down here? Well, you know what? It's just working. These retailers, this 22 level on the GPS, I just brought that up just now because I was looking at it. That 22 level looks fantastic. If it starts trading 21.75, it is free sailing, below. Obviously, there's always risk, and there can be, thing could, dip down and then come back on you with a red dog reversal or something. But the way these retailers are trading here, I wouldn't be surprised the gap here takes out the 22 today, especially with those weak Urban Outfitters. This is not something I want to invest in. It's definitely, if you're a trader and you're buying this thing, you're fighting the momentum. That's not something I want to do either. So bounces are to be sold, I think, in all these stocks.
All right, we have really gone off on several tangents today, Spencer. You want to rein us in a little bit? And
not really. I like the tangents we've been going on. I mean, we didn't really get.
What do you think that gap GPS? That is a tasty looking chart.
Yeah, it is, and it's also going back with some historical significance too. I like that, all those lows at 22. You did get some other ones here. GPS. Let me go back a little bit farther. I do see some. Oh man, not much here.
It looks good.
27.
I like that.
Yep. Another one you liked yesterday, and this $20 number is just sticking out to my head. Snapchat, Dennis.
We had this one yesterday too. We said it yesterday on the show. Twitter breaking down, and we're like, it was just hanging there above 20. I'm like, it takes out 20, it could start going down, and boom, 1945 yesterday. So 2 days in a row, we made pretty good calls on the show.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't track my calls. I don't even know how I do, but I noticed those 2 days in a row. We were bearish Twitter, bearish Snap, and both days it fell. We're bearish Gap today. Maybe we're hot. Third time's a charm. So me and you both bearish the GPS.
All right, S&Ps are really not moving much this morning. I think there's a lot of trepidation here about the Comey testimony, but the markets are still going to trade. We still need to cover some stocks here. Alibaba still up 16.74, 13%. Now, did you say you're out of that? Did you get flat?
I covered it. Yeah, I'm out. So just if people are just coming on the show, I traded this thing. I was trading the pair Yahoo versus Baba early this morning at 4 in the morning when they were opening off that headline there. Yeah, sometimes I get up early if I see there's a cool trading opportunity, and there definitely was with that headline from Alibaba. And I shorted the Baba at around 132, and I was buying the Yahoo, but I bought twice as much Yahoo dollars wise, so I didn't even put the real hedge on because I thought it might go higher. And I was buying Yahoo around 51.5, and I sold this morning my Yahoo up around 55 and covered my Baba around 140. So lost 8 points on the Baba, made only 3.5 or 4 points on the Yahoo, but because I bought twice as much dollars wise, so I made pretty good money on it.
Just give us some levels here, and this is only if you're long and you're thinking of covering. Pre-market high 143.95. We hit that just a little bit ago, close to a whole number, right? Now I think you got some step-down sellers here that are now focusing on the 143 area after you hit the 144. And this is just very short-term trading, though. But over the last half hour, you are struggling a little bit at 143. So once again, half and whole numbers, more whole numbers coming into play. But once again, 142 now is the print. So maybe the big boys are coming in and saying enough is enough already. But just take a look at your 15-minute charts. That's what I look at when stocks get in just unknown territory.
Somebody early in the chat, Spencer was letting me know, was asking about U.S. Steel, which was X, and I was talking yesterday on the show. I said I liked it around $20, and if it got back down there, I might take a shot. I never noticed it getting down there. It might have been a good buy because I actually went right to 20 on the kisser, bounced off, and it came right back up. So X would have been a good buy at $20. Wish I would have got it there yesterday. Did not. It's been hanging out here for a while. I don't know. I'm torn here. I've had U.S. Steel in my investment portfolio before. I ran it from, I don't know where I bought it, but I ended up selling like 44 or 45 bucks. So I could re-buy it here at $20, but you could say, the Trump play. But then, like I've always said, I also own Nucor Steel, and I believe that Nucor is a fundamentally more sound company, pays me a 2.6% dividend. So I think I might just stick with the Nucor. I'm not sure I'm going to stick U.S. Steel in my investment portfolio, although my spiny feeling, or what do you say in those when you get that feeling, I feel like I should stick this in my investment portfolio, just like I felt I should have stuck AMD in there, but I'm not doing it for some reason.
All right, biotech. Is that all of a sudden getting hot here? You mentioned Bluebird Bio, and let's see. Well, first of all, IBB, that 300 number, I've been keeping my eye on for a long time, buying something on strength, getting back up there again. Not quite, but boy, we got some bios, and we haven't had movers like this. What got things kick-started here in Bluebird Bio?
This has been an unbelievable move. So I think they had some data come out 4 or 5 days ago, didn't they, Spencer? Can you go to the pro, dig it up? And I was just looking at this, and I actually did make one trade in it, which I had a pretty good one. I held one overnight, ended up opening up like 3 or 4 points the next day, which was me and Scalper Blood took the 3 or 4 points and leave a pile on the table. But this thing's went up like 10% every day for the last 4 days at one point in time. It's crazy. It was $80 a week ago. Now it's 110. 111.85 here in the pre-market. Been an incredible move. I believe they came out with data about a week ago.
Yeah, well,
and it's just been going straight up ever since.
Well, it was Monday, I believe. It was Bluebird Bio and Centgene gave an update on the study that they're doing for T-cell therapy, and it was really good. The numbers that they reported, 100% of the patients achieved an objective response. 73 received a very good partial response. 27% received a complete response to the therapy. So it was good data. That was Monday before the bell.
And it's funny, BMO Capital came out, I believe, on Tuesday and upgraded the stock. Stock had closed that day, I think, at like $90, and they upgraded the stock to an outperform and put a $108 price target on it. It hit that price target the next day. So these price targets, when the analysts come out with it, are usually for 52 weeks out. They're 1 year price targets. It hit the next day. So now I don't know if BMO's got to analyze this and say maybe we got to jack our price target up again because it's already at 111, or maybe they come out, they just upgrade outperform, and they just come out and upgrade it to neutral again because it already hit their target 2 days later.
Yeah, nice move here. 109.45 was the high. This one, I think we've been much higher here in Bluebird Bio. Oh yeah, this was once a $197
Darling.
stock. So short term, you're like, whoa, this looks way overdone. Long term, big rounding bottom. This is basis the monthly chart or weekly charts, and now busting out. The other stock that I wanted to bring up here, another biotech, up nearly 500% on the year. Have you seen this one, Dennis? CALA. Calithra Biosciences.
Wow.
Yeah, they've had nothing but good news. Started the year out at $4 and just kind of walked its way up here. So I don't know. Maybe if you're looking to put your money in something that hasn't already moved here, maybe the biotechs are coming to life.
Well, some of them, and
Some.
it's funny, some of them are just dead money. Like, I mean, the Gileads and the big dogs. Look at Gilead; it's right near its lows. Even big pharma like Pfizer has been breaking down actually. So there's like separation happening. You know what? This market is hungry for growth, and if you've got some growth or you've got a hot stock coming or a hot drug coming, they're buying you. And if you don't have the growth right now, they're selling you. So this is actually a stock picker's market, even in the biotech sector itself. Not all are running, just the ones that are growing are running. Look at Kite. Kite Pharma has been taken off here just recently here, and it's up another $2 here this morning. That's one that's been moving up. I mean, ISRG, Intuitive Surgical, and that's kind of I don't know if that's biotech actually, but I was just watching that. Maybe I shouldn't even jump over to that one because I'm not even sure what sector Intuitive Surgical is in. But there's just been a lot of these biotech stocks here. Jump over to I had another one. What was the other one I was just looking at? Anyways, the big biotechs aren't moving. Celgene not moving, Biogen not moving. It's the little ones that are moving. So, if you got some other ones in the chat that you think are ready to hop, that got, some potential growth there, let us know here. We'll highlight them on the show here right now because some of these smaller ones that, have this growth potential are the ones that are really moving.
All right. Did we have any significant ratings changes today?
A couple. Nothing really jumping out to me too much. You had the double downgrade on BF.B, which is Brown Forman. This actually is interesting because this stock was in play just a few days, or actually a couple of weeks ago. You can see the stock took off to $59. Brown Forman said we're not for sale. It was rumor the Constellation Brands was going to buy them. Brown Forman saying they're not for sale. Stock has kind of been down ever since. Now the double downgrade trick. I'm starting to get interested in this one as a longer term investment. I know it's trading down here in the pre-market. It's 50 and a quarter here right now, just as we mentioned it. It just got ticked. But it's been breaking down here. Now you have both. Who was the analyst? Credit Suisse and somebody else downgraded too, Spencer. BF.B.
I'm having a hard time.
Credit Suisse
Credit
and
Suisse
somebody else.
and SocGen.
And Society General.
Yeah.
So you have BF.B getting the double downgrade. I don't know. I'm looking at it here, 1.44% dividend. Alcohol always seems to be somewhat defensive. You go to the weeklies, you go to the monthlies, you just got a ton of support in the 47-48 area. Stock was potentially in play. Now, they said they're not for sale, but that still doesn't mean that they couldn't get a bid. I'm not saying that they're gonna, but there's always that, outside wild card potential. I think the thing gets down like $48. I might stick this one in my investment portfolio as a contrarian investment, not a trade.
I would add that whiskey is the highest growing or fastest growing alcohol in the country, and Brown Forman is all over that. Sales of their whiskey brands were up huge last quarter, and the whiskey is the hottest type of alcohol right now. So.
I like it in the 40s. I like the fact that it got the double downgrade here because I like fading them when they do that. When you have two analysts that are both bearish here, sometimes I use that as coming because it's probably going to get hit pretty hard on the double downgrade. I don't know. Get down $48. I kind of like that level. What do you think, Joel?
I think I might have a story on this one. Remember Ernie? Remember he used to trade the A against the B. He used to do a lot of those arbitrage.
I did too. Me and Ernie
Yeah,
both did.
and
BF.A versus BF.B.
but they came out one day when he had it on, and they just like did it like they made a different distinction between the shares. So the current
Not
race,
good news.
I think it took him like 2 months to work out of that one because it totally blew the spread out. So when
And you know what the problem was back then? Like right now, BF.A actually does get some volume. It doesn't get a ton of volume, but it gets some volume. Back then, it was getting like a couple thousand shares a day, and it was like 2 points wide. So it was so hard to work out. Because I traded a couple times as well, the BF.B versus the BF.A back in like the 2000s, early 2000s, and it's just so thin, the BF.A, it's hard to work out of.
All right, we got 3 minutes here. S&Ps are real quiet. Baba starting to leak here. 6.5 million shares. Now we are in the 141 handle, 141.68. So, but comments from Anne Marie, right? Just all the short-term traders that shorted it, from 143 to 144. Do you think they care if this thing goes to 138 today? Right? They're gonna be booking some profits, so it's gonna be a wild day here in
I think
Alibaba.
the thing goes to 138, it's going to find buyers too, though.
Exactly.
That's a huge headline. Like if you think this come back, a lot of times you see, and you can just say if you didn't know the news, sometimes stocks can rally up and they can give it back. But this headline, I don't think this is giving it back. I think it's gonna, any pullbacks can pull back $2-3. I think it finds buyers. So I'm a buyer of pullbacks on Baba as trades, not as longer term investments. Kind of run too far for me to stick into my long term investment portfolio. But impressive headline.
All right, Rocket 1530. Kramer's talking about INCY. That's another bio, right? Strong pipeline
Yeah.
here. Boom, boom. $120 stock got a little pop up to 121. Let's look at the chart. Man, he's going against the herd on this one. I guess the good thing is it filled the gap up that it had in the middle of the May. If you're looking at it here, below 115, you want to hit the exit button. And if you're looking for a good risk reward and recent high or March high, 153.15. Spencer?
Yeah, I was going to add one thing. Dennis has said, the Baba guidance is kind of propping up the whole China internet sector today. One stock we didn't mention is ZTO. Watch out for that guy as well, up around 5%. They provide, they're an e-commerce company as well in China. They provide logistics for e-commerce and that sort of stuff. So,
Wow.
What's the symbol?
ZTO.
Okay.
So watch out for that guy as well. But like Dennis said, it's the whole sector this morning.
China's is flying off this Baba news.
Do you guys think today will be a lower volume trading day?
Because of the Comey test?
Yeah.
Well, didn't he already release a statement?
Opening statement.
His opening
The hearing
statement?
goes for like 4 hours.
Really?
What time is he talking?
It starts at 10 Eastern.
Okay. It's going to be watched. It spooked the market already once. That was the day we had the big 300-point down day, and that was probably due to Comey. It spooked the market already once. Can it spook it again? Yeah, but I think we've already spooked it once. In this market, we know how they like to buy pullback. So I don't think you're going to see, even if he says something that, really is bad for Trump, I think, any pullback here of, 10 S&P points probably going to get bought. But who knows? You got to always be ready. Eventually there will be, some pullbacks here, some significant corrections here because we've been running for a while. And it could be a Comey catalyst. It could be anything that really starts it. But I think it's going to come when everybody doesn't expect it. So that's why I don't think it's going to be Comey.
All right. Thanks for that. That's my question for the day, is whether the volume will be higher or lower today. That's our show for the day. Looking ahead to tomorrow, our guest is Michelle Mies Schneider. She is the Director of Trading Education and Research at Market Gauge. I hope you enjoyed our show today and our chat with Anne Marie Band. You can catch the whole thing again on our podcast, which is on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Subscribe to Benzinga on any of those platforms.
Real quick before we end the show, just Dr. J came up, and I just want to say Nordstrom just came out with some news.
Oh,
so I actually got retailers really pop. Nordstrom just popped up 50% here.
Macy's too.
JWN.
Macy's too.
So, Macy's probably going in sympathy. So we're looking at Macy's. I would imagine Kohl's going to move up in sympathy. So that gap trade that we're talking with GPS, that's off the table now because that could actually move it the other way. So,
Whoa,
Nordstrom
what did they say? $7?
I don't know.
I'm looking.
Wow. Nordstrom announces exploration of going private transaction.
Oh.
Wow, by the Nordstrom family. So basically, Nordstrom family is ticked off that their stock price is so low, and they're saying we might take it private. Wow. That's a headline.
That's a headline.
That's a headline that could kickstart a lot of this. So, okay, you know what? That's a game changer right there. That's a game changer for these retail stocks, and you're seeing it priced in Nordstrom here right now. I'd be careful here now shorting any retail stock, because when you get one stock in the sector, just as Alibaba brought up all the Chinese stocks, you're going to see this Nordstrom bring up these department stores here today.
That was good of you to bring that to my attention. Thanks also to Dr. J for throwing that into the chat there. Again, that's our show for today. Please remember that all the information, material, and content is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you folks on Friday.
Whether you're a short-term swing trader or a long-term investor, you need to check out Thinkorswim, brought to you by TD Ameritrade. There's a reason why Thinkorswim has been named the #1 trading platform, because it has it all. With Thinkorswim, you can trade stocks, options, futures, forex, and virtually every other type of order. Get notifications on mobile devices and interact with other traders in chat rooms. You can also use technical indicators and see the latest investing and trading education in Think Money magazine. If you want to keep up with the markets, you need Thinkorswim. To experience everything Thinkorswim has to offer, open a TD Ameritrade account today. Thinkorswim, the online trading platform for traders and investors. TD Ameritrade, member SIPC. All investing involves risks.